Hey, what's up, guys? This is Dwight here with Retro Crypto. It's been a rough week for me. It's been a rough week for the world. For me, I had an emergency dental surgery, and they removed one of my molars. Um, Super painful. Uh, when you watch the movies, and the people like rolling around on the floor, let's just say I was in so much pain. I looked at a pair of pliers and I thought about ripping it out myself because I couldn't get medication anywhere in the middle of the night in the U.S. Just like Tylenol, because all the pill poppers out there. So it really sucked. But yeah, so I'm home healing. I can't go to work because I can't risk damage. My wife's feeding me mashed potatoes and jello and pudding. I'm sick of it. Drinking iced coffee. I like my coffee hot. You know what I mean? But in reference to this, there's a reason why I'm complaining. Think about the poor people in the Ukraine right now and what they're going through. That makes my problems quite trivial, to say the least. So with that said, I actually had the opportunity to work with Ukrainians in my life. I know Ukrainians, and it really sucks, and it's kind of scary. But I just hope things work out for them. Um, Now, with all that said, I want to remind you guys, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just an ordinary guy out there on the internet. Any financial decisions that you make on your own. Do not make any decisions without doing your own research. DYOR. All right? Hey, we're at 912 subscribers, guys. I want to thank each and every one of you. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please hit that subscription button. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to hit the like button. All right? Now, with that said, let's take a peek at the market. HEX is down 8.2% today. Cardano down 5.1%. You know what I see all over the screen right now as I stare at it? I see opportunity, guys. Now, is the market going to go lower? I suspect so. But I still see opportunity. You always got to remember, put the same energy into the market when you see red that you want to put into it when it's green. Today will be the day that I'd rather see somebody use a credit card to buy into something than when the market's all green and they're trying to jump on that hopium. That's one of those fatal mistakes people make. All right, so let's get this party going here. All right, so what we got going on, guys? This is the total overall market cap is at 1.686. It's at 1.5 trillion is where the support line held. So it has good support right here. And it did hold, and it did rebound. And I actually see a little W pattern, which is some hopium there. Um, the volume right now is in the green over here. You can see that right there. And the fear and greed indicator, of course, we're in the fear. We better be fearful. Fearful a lot more than just cryptocurrency right now. Russia's a very powerful army, and sworn enemies, I don't even understand why sometimes, but sworn enemy to the West. It just feels like people have to fight for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, uh, now if you look at the crypto total market cap chart here with my cipher knockoff chart, as I like to refer to it, just keeping it real, you'll see that there were some manipulations that popped up the other day that I had mentioned, and then we were definitely in the bearish trend here, and then had a short signal. But since then, looks like we've bottomed out down here with this little green dot. So we bottomed out, and now we're on an actual uptrend. But we have not had a reversal of previous trend indicator, which is these. So right now, the charts are very interesting. It rebounded more than I thought it would today. I do not think we're out of the woods or the fire. We're definitely in a bear market, in my opinion, and every action you make be accordingly. A lot of opportunities in bear markets, though, guys. Now, over here with Bitcoin, we'll see that Bitcoin broke through this first resistance line at 36,472, but held at the $32,223 support line. So, and then I did a third support line at 29,233, which I never reached that one, thank God. Now, I actually think that Bitcoin is going to go as low as $20,000. So you need to be emotionally prepared for that. All right. Now the volume looks great. Volume is good on Bitcoin. Must admit that. But yeah, just don't. I'd never imagined waking up from my nap this afternoon and seeing it at 38,000. I was really expecting it to be lower 30,000s. So this is awesome, actually. You see down here that we're definitely in the fear territory on the fear and greed indicator. Um, Now we go here. We look at this moving average here. Now I had the moving average set on 4-hour moving average. That's kind of the overall best one in my opinion. Let's make this a little smaller here so we can see it. There we go. There we go. All right, so we're taking a peek at this. You'll see that the 20-day moving average is the purple, has did a def cross with the 200, the 100, and the 20-day moving average. And there's really not too much to report in that area. Moving averages look horrible right now. They're going to continue to look horrible. But we want to see happen is see this 20-day start swinging around. But I think it's going to be a while before we see that. But what I did notice today, though, was this little W pattern with the overall crypto market chart. So that definitely is hopium there. So we'll have to see what happens. The RSI looks good. It's actually in the neutral territory. I'll take that every day. And my MACD down here, for some reason, this chart keeps acting up on me. Hold on, let me try to get this chart right. There we go. Now my MACD chart here, I just got too much going on. That's what it is. My MACD chart down here has us actually crossing over into a bullish sentiment, which is actually kind of cool. I didn't think that would happen down there. So we have to see. Very interesting. Because you remember the crypto market, every time everybody thinks they have everything all figured out, it does something different. But I have to wait and see. All right. Now, if we look at my knockoff chart, my market cipher knockoff for the flea market, so I like to refer to it, you'll see that it's, man, I can't get over these right here, these market manipulation symbols. But we did have a red diamond for bearish continuation, and then a bearish continuation, bullish trend here. But it looks like it might be about to swing out of that, because right down here you can see that that trend hit a bottom with this green dot. So the green dot, I like to always read exactly what it means. Local market bottom, strong buy signal in uptrends, cautionary sign for shorters in the downtrends, primary trigger on all time frames. So this here is indicating a change, a swing in the market. So this might be the worst of it for right now, but I strongly suspect it's going to get worse before it gets better. Grocery prices are going to be going up. Russia is a major exporter of corn, and it was another produce I was not aware of, but I know they're a major manufacturer of corn. That's going to hit here in the U.S. because corn's in everything. It's kind of amazing, but literally they've worked it into everything you eat. Again, you got to deal with the gasoline prices, oil prices, gas, natural gas prices. Everything's going to be going up, and I truly think that's going to send us into a recession on the U.S. side. Even though we're already in it, we just don't realize it, if you get my drift. But I think recessions in my lifetime have kicked in very quickly. They only take a couple weeks. Companies start to lay off and start to basically, what do you do when you're in fear? You pull your best people in with you. You pull everybody in tight, And I see it coming, guys. It's coming. All right, let's take a look here. Just look. Now we're going to jump over to HEX here, guys. HEX is underneath of that support line that I show every week. Dang it. This support line did not hold, guys. So for the first time, HEX has broken beneath this uptrend line. Now, this uptrend line was significant to me because it went all the way back here. And that was May 1st of 2021. And HEX has now broken that trend line, that uptrend line that I always say we can go back to, make ourselves feel better about. Hopefully, maybe it'll just dip for a little bit and go back to where it belongs. It's also broken through the strong support line that we had established here. So, with that said, yeah, it is what it is, right? Now, we're going to have to redraw all this now. This support line is going to have to be here. This is our new support line. And the trend, I'm going to leave that trend in there just to see if we can get back into this wedge. I'm hoping we can stay in that wedge, but I'm suspecting we're not going to. Now, the reality of the fact for HEX, though, is HEX has been in a downtrend since September 18th. So it's been in a downtrend since September 18th, but the overall uptrend line was never broken until today. But it was bound to happen eventually, I guess, right? And compared to HEX looks the exact same as everybody else out there right now, I'll tell you the truth. if not better than some of them. Actually, Hex looks worse than the rest of the stuff, which is normal because Hex always does bad when everybody else does good, and then vice versa. So I have full faith in Hex. All right, RSI chart for Hex. RSI has Hex actually on the on the oversold side of things, so it may actually be a good day to pick up a little bit of Hex. Um, yeah, I would consider it a good day to pick up a little bit of Hex, to tell you the truth. I think I'm gonna hold out till it gets a little bit lower, but yeah, if you want to pick up some Hex, it's looking good to buy today. The MACD actually shows it on the bearish indicator side of things, and the moving averages are horrible, just like everybody else's. 20 days all the way down here. Then you got the 50 day, 100, and then 200 day. There's really nothing to brag about at all with that. Let's see if we can see a little W for Hex. Hex does not have that little W though. It's just downward action right there. The Bollinger Bands has it hugging the oversold side of things, and it's dropped beneath the Bollinger Band, so it's definitely a good buy point today. If you're thinking about getting into it, you see this green volume down there. That actually is a healthy signal. But as I said right now, every move you make sure you're careful and you do research, watch the market closely because it's very unpredictable right now. We knew that this war was going to start. Everybody knew it. We hoped it wouldn't, but we also knew it. Now it has started. So now it's like, what's next? You know what I mean? Every action has a reaction, and the reaction to this war, I truly think, is going to thrust everybody into a recession. All that money that was printed, that's all over. The problems from hyperinflation was already kicking in. Now we're going to have hyperinflation as prices go up for things just because there's a scarcity of it. But I don't have a crystal ball, but it's just what I'm predicting. Hopefully I'm right, but then again, hopefully I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I don't want to see suffering. Because just because I have a good job or a good situation in my life doesn't mean the next guy does. You know what I mean? Or just because I invested in the right cryptos, which I hope I did, doesn't mean the other guy did when everything crashes. So anyway. All right. Hex with my knockoff cipher chart. You see these manipulation signals popped up on Hex also, which I'm still really suspicious about these manipulation symbols. But it does show that down here with this green dot that it should be bottomed out in this initial drop, and that's why you see these green lines here. So if I was a person who liked to long and short the market, I would probably feel comfortable considering longing the market, considering it, but not yet. But that's just me, and I don't long and short, and I do not suggest you to trade because I've never been successful at it. Let's keep it real. All right, I never stick to the plan. All right, now I took and drew this earlier today just to see what's going on with the market. What I used, these are actually called, so you know what I'm using. These are rays, and they're just another style of doing trend lines. But I want to see if it stays in this wedge here, because right now everything's just bouncing around this wedge, and it hit the support line and came back up. So I want to see what happens there, and then you can see the RSI down here has bounced around, but it's on the oversold side of things. So like I said before, it might be a good opportunity to buy some Hex. It might be a very good opportunity. All right, but that's where we are right now with the marketing. If I'm a little bland and dry than usual, I apologize, guys. My tooth is killing me, but I love crypto. So I keep taking little breaks, and I'm going to have to redo the video, so because it hurts. All right, here we go. Richard Hart yesterday did a interview with Peter Schiff. If you didn't watch it, you should watch it. It was pretty cool. Peter Schiff did better than I felt he should have. I don't think Richard Hart was on his A game yesterday, and I know he knows he wasn't. Peter Hart did some really good, what you call it? He researched. And Richard Hart actually admitted that, wow, you really researched this. You're ready. So I think that if they do a second interview, Richard Hart's going to destroy him. Because you got to think Richard Hart just keeps coming up with the same, every interview is kind of the same routine. So it's easy to prepare for it if you're intelligent. And Peter Schiff, obviously, is no dummy. He was prepared for Richard Hart. So when the interview was going on, It's the same thing. So he had the same comebacks for everything immediately. But yeah, you know who I'm a fan of, and Richard Hart. It ain't gonna happen again. Guarantee that. uh, but yeah, make sure you guys check that out. That's Peter Schiff. I'll put a link in a video so you guys can go to that and watch that stream. PulseX. All right, the multiplier is over that portion of it, and the whole sacrifice for PulseX ends in 2 hours and 48 minutes, which is crazy. So the current rate's 9.43 if you were to sacrifice the next 3 hours, basically. I remember doing it for $1. So you got to do $9.43 for 10,000 points, whereas I did that for just $1 on January 10th. So this is another one of those pulse chain opportunities that people are sleeping on that they're going to wish they did. I wouldn't even do it right now. I would just wait and assume there's going to be a pullback and try to jump into it then, honestly. Pulse chain. I think Pulse chain is going to be bigger than PulseX. PulseX is just going to be a DEX. It's a Uniswap, Pancake Swap. Actually, I think it was a fork of Pancake Swap, if I'm not mistaken. But I think a lot of money was dumped into it because they really wish they had got onto Pulse chain. Even though they were Hexicans, they said that they were just going to be. They didn't realize how big Pulse chain was going to be. And thank you to Trayvon James, who made it a point to say on one of his videos, people don't realize how big Pulse chain is going to be. It's going to be huge, and I'm not even worried about the market dip right now because I'm just waiting for Pulse chain at this point because I went into it very heavily. But yeah, so that's where we're at with PulseX. It's coming to an end. Sacrifice is over. We got to get that DAO done. There's no we. Richard Hart and his dev team have got to get the DAO completed, and then they had that incentivized coin or whatever. I don't know, but we're just waiting for them to wrap everything up. So I'm actually hoping that it's completed by the end of March. I'm hearing a lot of YouTubers say the end of March, but nobody knows for sure. March would be a good time, right? The season change and all. I'm betting on that. Now, let's look at the news. I like to always point out the news to you guys, and there's a reason. To get a feel for what's going on in the world, what's going on with the crypto markets. Why are people reacting the way they're reacting? I'm going to do this real quick to update that. All right. Russia to seize retail deposits if sanctions go too far, official warns. Russia's largest bank, Sberbank, has denied its own supposedly false statement on being included in the U.S. sanctions list on Thursday. In the event of harsh Western sanctions as Russian forces invade Ukraine, retail customers could risk losing their wages. Russian saving could be confiscated in response to sanctions against the country, according to Russian name, a member of the country's Communist Party and vice chairman of the Duma's Committee on Economic Policy. The Russian government can potentially seize about 60 trillion rubles, that's 750 billion worth of people's deposits should Western nations decide to block all Russia's foreign funds, Russian name said in an interview with local news agency News.ru on Monday. If all the foreign funds are blocked, the government will have no other choice but to seize all the deposits of the population, or 60 trillion rubles, in order to solve the situation, officials stated, noting that Russia stores over 640 billion of gold and foreign exchange reserves abroad. He also mentioned that potential sanctions against Russia include possible disconnection from SWIFT and foreign exchange prohibition. Russian President Vladimir Putin officially announced a special military operation in the Ukraine, potentially pulling the trigger on a set of sanctions on Russia's largest banks, including, well, that part is done, obviously, guys. The sanctions are in place. And this is what the West is fighting against with the East. I guess we'll have to refer to it that way at this point. But that mentality of Russia right there is absolutely mind-boggling, considering that their stance is that it's like communism mixed with democracy supposedly, which is a curtain. It really isn't, mixed with dictator. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I'd really like to know what the true Russian people's feeling about all this is, but it's kind of hard to get the truth because it's Russia. I don't know. It's weird stuff, guys. But this is what they're dealing with. This is also going to have a major effect on the market. This actually, I think, would be a boost for crypto market in the long run, honestly. But we'll see what happens because everything that's being done right now with Russia as sanctions are because of who controls the money. But if you take away the control, this wouldn't happen. Is it a good thing or bad thing? I don't know. Is it the future? Yes. All right, let's take a look here. Russia says it destroyed 74. Now, this was okay. Russia destroyed 74 Ukraine facilities. Russian Defense Ministry says Russian military has destroyed 74 Ukrainian military facilities, including 11 air bases. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Sergo ordered the Ukrainian servicemen be treated with respect and those who laid down their weapons offered safe corridors. The Russian Defense Minister confirmed the loss of a Su-25 attack jet due to a pilot error, which means they probably got shot down. It is what it is. Berlin, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, has expanded its recommendations following the Russian attack on Ukraine to warn operators against flying over Moldova, and Belarus, and exercise caution over large parts of Russia. They're at war. They're fighting. I don't think it's too much battlefield fighting yet, but it's very obvious it's going to be a urban warfare scenario. Russia's pulling its tanks in, and it's getting bad there. All right. Now, what else is on the news that's really going to affect things? China says Ukraine, Taiwan can't be compared, but Xi wants land back too. Worried about this one. Because this will be, all right, so with the Ukraine, that's NATO, the UK, a lot of, this is actually on European soil. Whereas China with Taiwan, definitely the United Kingdom's involved with that in the U.S., but it's on the whole opposite side of the spear of things, and it's the opposite side of Asia, which is kind of amazing. You got Russia on one side doing this, and now you got China on the opposite side. Chinese officials have told Newsweek that the issues of Ukraine and Taiwan were entirely separate, but at the same time has stressed that the self-ruling island is a part of the China in language mirroring Russian President Vladimir Putin's own speech questioning the sovereignty of the neighboring country against which he has since ordered military action. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory, and there is only one China in the world, Chinese name, spokesperson for Beijing's embassy in Washington. This is an irrefutable historical and legal fact. Acts of China saw comparisons in Washington's approach to sending arms to Kiev, despite Moscow's protests and offering weapons to Taipei. In spite of Beijing's challenges, Liu said the Taiwan issue and the Ukraine issue can't be compared. The remarks before Putin ordered a series of overnight air and missile strikes Wednesday as part of a special military operation to militarize Ukraine, which he has demanded not to be allowed into the U.S.-led NATO military allowance. All right, here's the difference, though, with Taiwan. This is what I understand from difference Taiwan and Ukraine. Taiwan has the immediate U.S. interest because if China is able to seize Taiwan, the whole naval fair route thing around the world, it comes into a problem with, I believe it's the China Sea, Caspian Sea. No, that's not Caspian Sea. It's China. Anyway, don't quote me on this. I'm no global whatever. But so in Taiwan is a major economic hub that you got to remember. So there's a lot going on in the world, and it's making all the markets crash because everybody wants to show who has the biggest in the crowd. You know what I mean? And I like to think it's not necessary, but it probably is, unfortunately. It's just the way the world works. Maybe, and I actually worry when players who aren't trying to show off start to show off. I don't know. We'll see what happens. How the U.S. benefits when China turns its back on Bitcoin. In a farmland on the outskirts of Canary, Nebraska, there is a field full of modified 40-foot shipping containers lined up in rows. It's off the main road and easy to miss. There are no signs and no big buildings, but as you approach, you notice one thing. It makes a lot of noise. Each container is lined with huge industrial fans and filled with specialized computers. Inside, it's windy and humming at about 85 decibels. Our technicians always have some sort of hearing protection when they enter, says Dave Perel, CEO and co-founder of Compute North, which runs the facility. Welcome to one of America's biggest data centers for cryptocurrency mining. Here, thousands of computers are dedicated to solving a set of complex math problems. So, when China basically said they're going to ban Bitcoin mining in China, okay, it moved to the U.S. Say if U.S. decides they want to ban it for whatever reason, which I hope they're smarter than that at this point, it could just move somewhere in South America and so on and so on. That's one of the things that makes Bitcoin special, makes cryptocurrency special. You can't really stop it. It'll move. Somebody else will take the opportune moment and take over. Cryptocurrency is a very beautiful thing. And like I said, with Russia, with the sanctions, the scary part about the sanctions is that's using the traditional banking system. Crypto was created to destroy the traditional banking system so that they can't just shut down Swift, or they can't just shut down this bank. Why? Nobody uses the bank. They just handle their own finances. So this actually is going to be a push towards crypto, guys. But it's going to also take away the power that governments are used to. Just food for thought. All right. Let me take a break. My two first. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, what is the crypto executive order that Biden will address this week? I want to run through this real quick because this is where I think the market's going to dip later this week. President Joe Biden is expected to issue an executive order this week that would direct government agencies to develop a strategy to regulate digital assets. It was reported in January that Biden administration was preparing an executive order to study cryptocurrencies with the aim of developing a government-wide framework to regulate digital assets. The executive order would also mandate government agencies to investigate the possibility of launching a central bank digital currency, CBDC, issued by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The move comes as it's unlikely that the Congress will put in place any legislation to standardize rules for crypto. The directive will not involve any immediate direct action, but will task agencies to report back after they have investigated risk associated with crypto assets, including their financial stability and impact on the environment. Fed-backed U.S. digital currency Biden order will reportedly commission a study into the creation of the CBDC, according to Yahoo Finance, by several agencies. So yeah, blah 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 blah. So basically, from this article, hopefully the U.S., they're not going to try to make any big moves, but they might. But they are going to start looking at creating a digital dollar. But they don't get cryptocurrency. They still don't understand. The digital dollar is still the dollar. The dollar they have printed into the inflation's out of control. So the digital dollar, paper dollar, it's the same dollar. It's the same problems. But anyway, it just shows the how they don't understand. They just don't get it. But they will eventually, unfortunately. All right. I was gonna go into. Oh wait, there's more. I'm not going to read this article because you guys know what's going on. Global oil prices soar above $100 and could go much higher. That's another problem that's causing the markets to tumble. I ain't going to read that article. It's cut and dry. Don't forget liquid loans. I'm gonna do a separate video on this later. And Mentra are both doing sacrifice phases for projects on Pulse Chain. I'm gonna do a separate video for that later on today. If you're interested, check it out. But I'm not gonna do it now. But yeah, that's it for this video. So please don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, stay peaceful, guys. All right, peace out.